How much is the new driving test update really going to affect us? So for anyone that doesn't know me, I am Josh, the driving instructor. Went for a driving test today with a student. I spoke to my favorite examiner there, codename E, don't tell anyone. I said, well, what's actually going on? Because I don't know if you've noticed, there are rumors flying about everywhere, left and right. TikTok, every YouTuber saying something slightly different, and it's just a little bit up in the air. So I thought, let's find out nice and clearly, once and for all, what's going on. So the big question that everyone really wants to know is the new driving test harder? Short answer, no, it's not. It's more like a small tweak than an overhaul. You know, they've changed a few bits, they've updated it a little bit, but is anything dramatic changing? No, not at all. In fact, if anything, I'd say it's staying almost the same. What are they doing? Well, they used to have to pull you over between 4 and 5 times, okay? By the way, if I sort of hesitate to speak, it's because I can't multitask, all right? Very single track minded. Yeah, they used to ask you to pull over 4 or 5 times, okay? Now they're gonna ask you to pull over 3 times. Well, a pullover is about 30 seconds. So if they're knocking 1 pullover, maybe 2, they're knocking off around 30 seconds of your driving test max, all right? So what they're gonna do instead with that 30 seconds is it's supposed to take you on a new country road or a dual carriageway. Now, the point is, if your test center isn't in the vicinity of a rural road, a country road, what can they do? Absolutely zilcho. So if you're in the dead center of London and there's no country roads around, that's it. They're not going to close the test center. So nothing will change with that. What it's more of is, if you can take someone on a country road, then do. But remember, they've only got an extra 30 seconds. So how much of that is going to change? I'm not too sure. The second thing they've done is around 1 in 3 people would have to do an emergency stop on the driving test. Me. Now they're changing it to 1 in 7 people. Well, the emergency stop itself, it wasn't that hard, and it took approximately, 30 seconds from stopping to going. So they've saved a whole minute. So they've got 1 minute extra to take you on a new road on your driving test. You're not going to get any further, really, because the driving test length is staying exactly the same. So honestly, so far, change-wise, not a big deal. If anything, it's more similar than it is different. You've still got to have the same skills as before.
The only real change that's been made that I can see is going to affect anything at all is the changes to the Satnav. Now, in the previous driving test, you may follow Satnav for around half of the test and follow the examiner's directions for half of the test, or you would follow signposts for half of the test and follow the examiner's directions for half of the test. Well, they've offered a third and fourth option. Now, you could follow Satnav for the entire test, or you could also follow road signs for the entire test as well.
From my point of view, if you want my humble opinion as an instructor, this is going to make almost no difference to your driving test at all. You know, you should be practicing on a rural road, so if you can do a rural road, great. And if your test centre that you're going at is in the middle of Wolverhampton, London, Birmingham, you're not going to get a rural road anyway, and they're not going to close all the test centres, so still not going to get a rural road. And with regards to an emergency stop, well, everyone should know how to do a basic emergency stop, and if you're with any half-decent driving instructor, they will have told you how to do an emergency stop, taught you, so it's exactly the same there. So how likely are you to get a rural road? Basically, the examiners have been told if you can include a little bit of rural road on sections of road that you used to not, then do. That's it. If you can't, then fine, just keep everything the same. And if you are in any vicinity of somewhere where there is going to be country roads, rural roads, then you will have done some rural driving with your driving instructor. You're going to be on one for a minute. More than you normally would, so no different. And as they say, it is true, if you can drive one place, you should be able to drive any place. But if you're anything like me and you like to have a good idea of where the hell they're going to take you, have a look at my driving test app. Or if you want to have a look, it's coming national, it's coming everywhere. Click on the link below, or there should be a link there somewhere. Pop email in, send you an email the second your test center is ready to go. Now, what is actually changing with the marking of the driving test? You know, the old test compared to the new test? Nothing. Everything is staying exactly the same. You're being marked on how normal you can drive. Don't drive like a learner. Focus on driving like this guy in front of us, maybe not quite like that, but similar. You want to drive as normal as possible. You want to be a normal person on the road, you know? They don't want to see this cautious mess that's slowing everyone down or going too fast, can't control their speed. They just want to see you normal. This is where you should be the sheep, not the wolf. You just want to be the sheep, following everyone around nice and normally on the road. If you can do that, they're going to think that you're a nice, safe driver, and they're going to give you a license. You're just showing them, this is how I'm going to drive on the roads. If you show them I'm going to drive really slowly, slow everyone down and be super duper cautious, you're not showing them, oh yeah, I'm a really good driver. You're showing them, I don't know how to handle the car and I'm not a very confident driver and I'm not going to be sure with how to deal with the roads when I go out on my own. We're gonna go, whoopsie.
So what was the actual point in even changing this? Was there any?
You've still got to practice your pullovers. I mean, if you pull over once, pull over twice, pull over 3 times, I agree. There was no point doing 5 pullovers. What's the point? But you still need to practice your pulling over, you know? Especially under pressure. It's on those normal sort of roads where there's still traffic, people behind you and around you, but they're nice and wide. They're the ones I always think they're a bit more higher pressure for trying to pull over. And then, yeah, finally, the dual carriageways. If there is a dual carriageway in your area, they're far more likely to do dual carriageways now. So do make sure that you have an idea. Again, you don't have to love them, all right? You just have to be competent at them, just good enough, be able to do it on your own. That would be fine. And remember, we can't just go to that test average driving. Yeah, we can't just be like, oh, we're just about okay, all right? Because what happens is you go to your test, you're under pressure, and what happens anytime you're under pressure and you do something? Well, there's healthy pressure, and healthy pressure, we're at our best. But there's unhealthy pressure, and normally the driving test can turn into unhealthy pressure because it's something we want so much. We go above the healthiness, and adrenaline kicks in, and we start doing, our driving actually drops in quality slightly. It doesn't go up. So we need to make sure we're at a standard where we are above the standard that we need to be at. So then when we get to the driving test and we drop that quality a bit, we're still going to pass. And we don't want to be just about average. Hopefully that makes sense. And as I mentioned before, if you want to have a little practice at a test route in your test center, pop your email address in. I will get a test route sent out to you for free. Free as a bird. The second it is ready to go. And I am very excited. It's going to be amazing. If you've liked the video, press the like button. You know, like there's only like 10% of you that are actually subscribed to this channel. So if you're still watching at this point, come on. Surely by this point, you want to come back. Press the subscribe button. Love you all. Good luck. See you all soon.